This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. If you've been through these situations where life is just really not moving in the direction you want it to, you feel that there's more out there, maybe you're lacking motivation to make change or even just move things forward, we're going to hyper focus on that today with somebody that can help lead you on that journey. He's got a lot of interesting experience. I haven't even experienced this, even talking to other life coaches with his background. And I love what he pilots on. He's a no BS success coach. Gets right to it. Tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Jason Turner joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great, sir. Doing great.
Good having you here on the show. Success coach is how you define what you do. But I'm going to right to it. No BS. Here we go. You have a military background and you coach on principles of, in some regards, military in terms of discipline and more. Tell us about that part.
So my coaching business is basically built on military discipline, clarity, and just getting to the execution. I offer one-on-one coaching packages, tactical life planning, and structured accountability sessions designed to help people take control of their lives with purpose, precision, and accountability. I not only do one-on-one, but I also do group and business coaching as well, sir.
Why do you feel that many of us are not moving forward? Many people say I'm stuck. I don't know why. What do you think? And everybody's different. Every situation is different. But what do you think's going on there?
Well, one common thing that I see is it's not that people shoot too high and miss. It's that they aim too low and they hit. And that way they're reaching their goals, but they are real short-sighted. They don't think of much into the future. It's just whatever works for them right now.
So do you feel that they haven't even set the right kind of goals or done it in the right way?
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Yes, sir.
What can you offer in terms of maybe some insight, maybe some tips? We're just starting basic here. Basic training, I guess, if you will, in terms of goal setting. What are we doing wrong on average?
Well, on average, especially in the community that I grew up in, nobody wanted to leave home. Nobody considered moving to another location, for example, to get a better paying job. They just was stuck in the rut of the everyday going to work, raising a family, and just making do with what they had. And when it comes to planning for the future and retirement, especially in the economy that we're in now, we obviously have to plan bigger or aim higher so that way we can hit those better goals for ourselves and our families.
What are some of the principles when you look at the military that helps you pilot people? Are there certain things that really stand out for you?
So two main things in the military, and this can be applied to individuals or groups as well, is you've got what's called troop leading procedures, and you've got the military decision-making process. So if there's anything that the military is good at, it is keeping structure and decision-making very formal and very well thought out. So start with a goal. It doesn't matter what it is. Come up with 3, 4, 5 different methods or strategies, if you will, to achieve that goal. And also set what success looks like from the beginning. So that way you know if you have actually achieved your goal or not sufficiently to move on to the next one.
So they say that if you want to manifest, and many believe that what you think becomes your reality, would you say that you should actually, like you said, picture what that goal is going to look like when you succeed, and also what it's going to feel like the full picture of everything. Just kind of uh, live it, breathe it, taste it. It's already here. Feel it. So
Yeah,
as you get closer to getting to it, if you're really hitting it.
absolutely. You have to picture what those goals, what those dreams look like 20, 30, 40 years from now. You're like, okay, this is where I want to be. What are the backward planning steps I need to do to make sure that I end up in whatever that goal or dream that you want to be, whether that's a beach house in Hawaii or that's a cabin in the woods somewhere, whatever that end state is that you want to be, you have to figure out what that is. And most people ended up just shooting from the hip and never have a bold plan put together or even the steps on how to get there.
Hmm. I'll take the cabin. I'll take the beach house in Hawaii. All of the above, because both sound amazing. Um, Tell me your background. I know you have a military background, but take us from the beginning.
So I was raised on a cattle farm. We raised tobacco and hay and whatnot in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And after high school, I joined the National Guard, and I've been doing that ever since. I'm actually full time with the Guard now as a certified Army instructor, and been through 3 combat deployments, been in several different roles throughout the years. But that's my background there. So,
Hmm. What made the military look attractive to you when you were younger?
well, obviously, the first initial offers were, like cash bonuses, tuition payments, GI Bill, all of those financial benefits. And
Sure.
I, for one, used all of those. I made sure to use all of the resources that was available to me.
Was it the discipline?
It wasn't at first.
Okay.
Uh, like my grandfather, who was one of my mentors growing up, he was a World War II veteran in field artillery, and just the grit, get it done type of person that he was influenced me. And I took that and joined the Guard with it, and just took his training or teaching that he gave me throughout the years and applied that to my military career. And it's just skyrocketed ever since.
Nice. Oh, but do you find that many men nowadays are masked up? They're not being transparent just because that's the way society taught them to be. Man up, big boys don't cry, all of that. So they're living behind a veil. The mask is on. They're not really, maybe not even being real to themselves, and potentially that could be holding them back. Do you see that as big challenge nowadays?
I do see that, but one of the main goals in my operations is to help them take a step back, take a deep breath, look at their situation from the entire perspective, not just from the one that they have been looking at it since however long they've been thinking about it. They have to take a step back, take a break, and be like, okay, this is actually where I'm at. And then we can set a path forward to help them reach their goals.
The take a breath, deep breath sounds just like what everybody says to everybody else, but it makes such a difference. Scientifically proven, almost like the reset button when you're in those moments of trying to figure things out. You have confusion. Maybe you're getting emotional in a situation. It really does make a difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I was at the gym the other day, digression here, but in line with what you're talking about in terms of looking at a situation differently. Hadn't been to the gym in about a week, getting back into it, and I'm not hitting what I want to hit. And I took a moment, I closed my eyes, I took that deep breath. I'm like, all right, let's refocus on things. Let's start this over again. I know this sounds bizarre, but when I opened my eyes and continued, what I was doing at that moment, at the gym, I almost felt like I was above myself looking down. It was the weirdest feeling. I didn't even know I was lifting weights. It's all, I almost got transported to another place. Like I'm looking down on me doing it, but it didn't even feel like I was doing it, and I just like powered through. I've never had that happen before, but I think it's also what you're talking about, Jason, the refocus, taking the breath, looking at this from a different angle, because we're always stuck, you know, with the blinders on, like the horse, right? We're always looking at it only
Mhm.
from one way. Let's look at it from another way, and things might even be easier. That's what I'm getting, you know, experience what you're talking about right there.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just have to take a step back.
Yeah, it's almost like a reset, you know, or like you know, call it a camera angle. You know, when you watch TV, they
Mhm.
shoot it from all different angles. What's our angle? The same one, out of our eyes, straight ahead. You know, we're seeing everything the same exact way. What are some of the other things that you can help people with in terms of coaching? And by that I mean, you know, challenges that somebody might be dealing with.
So most of my clients are either speaking about something financial or career wise.
Hmm.
So they want to hit a certain goal in life. And what I do is I offer a free PDF on my Facebook page. It's just a Google Doc that they download, and it asks them 15, 20 questions. And it already gets them thinking about where I'm at, where I want to be, where are what are some of the things that are stopping me. And most of us throughout day to day life, we don't actually take the time to look at where our goals are. And if we are even making progress, we might actually be taking steps back. But we're in that daily rut of going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids, going to bed, and getting up doing it all over again. So we're getting in a rut, and we need to have more accountability on ourselves. So that way we ensure that our decisions going forward are actually contributing and not holding us back.
Hmm. But one of the other things, and that also is connected to the military that you offer, is accountability. Accountability. When somebody's working with you, I'm going to imagine they've engaged you for a reason, not like it's a free ride. You know, you're going to be checking in.
Mhm.
Tell us about that in terms of accountability.
So really it boils down to if someone knows that there's somebody looking over their shoulder, they will focus on it differently than if they was just holding themselves accountable. Or even if it's just a one time a week call between me and them, we're like, okay, how did you progress on this account? Or how did you progress on that investment? And just really causing them to think about their decisions from, again, a different perspective of somebody else watching them versus them watching themselves.
Hmm. Tell us about the process. Somebody engages you, you identify what their goals are, and maybe they meet with you once a week. I don't know. Just tell us
Mhm.
about that. And then what happens in terms of your accountability?
So most of the time, I have what's called a one-time mission briefing. So they'll fill out a form, the free form. They will set up an appointment with me, and we will go through and talk about their responses. And I'll simply walk them through setting goals for hitting, or making achievable milestones in steps, so that way they know that they're working towards a goal instead of moving backwards. And the accountability part of it is, say they have scheduled a mission briefing 2 weeks from now. They know in 2 weeks they're going to have a conversation with me about all the stuff that we talked about before. So it encourages them, even if nothing more than being talked to by another person. Oh, I've got things I've got to get done. I need to focus on those. Whereas otherwise, they would not have had that accountability. They wouldn't even thought of, hey, somebody else is going to be checking in with me on my investment portfolio next week.
Hmm.
Well, whatever the case is. And it provides them a different mindset of nothing more than somebody is watching me, and I'm going to have to produce results. So
Yeah, I'm one of those people that needs step-by-step instruction. Once you set me with that, I stick to it. Like I could eat the same thing for breakfast every day. I really could. Wouldn't even bother me. I have pretty much. Sometimes I change it up every third day or whatever, just whatever. Um, but I believe we all need to be shown the way. And society has made us that way. Look at GPS. You don't even have to think when you get in the car. It's telling you what to do. So I believe we need that now just because that's the mindset that we're in. And it sounds like you offer that. You offer, GPS for life when you're coaching somebody. Um, what else would you want to share about the way that you and I love the name of it, by the way, what you offer, Operation U, no BS coaching. What are some of those other things you want people to know?
So throughout my career, and one thing that General Patton said was never tell people how to do things, tell them what to do, and they will surprise you with their ingenuity. So the path that I took, the steps that I take may not work for every other person out there because we all have unique circumstances throughout life. We all experience life differently, and there's different roadblocks that we all have to navigate throughout life. So the main thing is, okay, we know what you want to do, but you have to come up with the how. I'm not going to give you the how. We're just going to talk about the what, the actual goals. It's up to you to make those steps and to make those decisions and to get yourself in a different routine. And if it's something as simple as setting reminders on your phone at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it says, oh, hey, I need to check on this. And that can also encourage your own accountability, whether that be from your phone, tablet, Microsoft Outlook, whatever.
I want to go into some of the packages you offer. Why don't we pick one, just random on your website? And they're all connected to military terms, which is really cool. Field training, field training. That's one of them. What comes along with that?
So field training is we are setting up 4 appointments, whether that's biweekly, monthly, weekly, whatever your schedule allows. So that way, instead of just a one-time mission briefing, we're setting up a schedule. So let's say it's biweekly, for example. So over the next 2 months, I'll be working with someone, setting up their goals, obviously in the mission briefing and the first iteration of the field training. And I like to meet with folks not in an office environment. So let's say we met them at the local coffee shop or the local McDonald's or something, and we just sit down and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's more inviting. They feel more encouraged to speak about goals and how to set up their plans. And I always found that more engaging, meeting in a more comfortable place versus like a dull office,
Sure.
For example.
Can you also do things virtually?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't prefer it because I would rather meet with somebody in person, but nowadays with everybody's busy schedule, sometimes virtual has to be the way to go.
Sure.
And I do offer that.
And I would imagine that you could coach anybody anywhere, within your credentials. I don't think it's like state specific, right?
No, it is not.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can see this, hear this anywhere. So, are you in Kentucky?
I am. That's where I live, sir.
Yeah, I'm in New York. This could be a coaching session. Could be anywhere. I think it also comes down to the relationship, with the initial onboarding process, somebody getting a feeling for you, you for them, making sure it's a comfortable fit, and then kind of pilot from there. What are some of can you give us some of we just talked about field training as one of the packages. Mm-hmm. Can you share with us maybe another one and what that entails?
So let's take, for example, the mission briefing is something that's planned. Let's say we would plan it for a week or 2 out.
Sure.
But I also have what's called an emergency debrief. So if you feel like you're in a rut or you're freaking out because you're not making your goals, we can have within an hour conversation to get you back on track. Or if you fell behind, whatever the case may be, you have an immediate need that you would need to talk to me right now. Now, if you move on up to, say, the mission mastermind, or the mission command analysis, that's more for a group or a workplace coaching session. So let's say a group of folks at work, they're in a rut or they need some help trying to move forward. We can meet with them, talk about what goals they're wanting to hit, and then provide them some sort of guidance to keep them moving forward.
I love what you offer in some of these packages, and you call it the AAR, After Action Review. Is that just a recap and then accountability there, at the end?
You could wrap those in the same thing. We're talking about what was supposed to happen, what actually happened, and then what went well and what didn't go well. So that way we can not only see if we're moving in the right direction, we can also see what things we did right, what things we did wrong, and what we can correct moving forward.
I love that. And also the fact that depending on the package that you're available, unlimited texting, emails, response within 24 hours, you're there, you're accessible because things come up, and I feel that people start relying on those that help move them forward. I remember I was going through some challenges a few years ago and reconnected with a close friend who's got a therapeutic background, and she was my sage. I'd be laying in bed at night like, can you believe what's going on? What do I do? Like, even how do I talk to my kids? And she would just give the feedback, which was, there's no value on that. It's just when you need it at that moment to help move your life forward. And it's great that you offer that. Jason, what's the best way for somebody to start the process, to connect with you, maybe even, just the initial conversation? Where do we go?
So the Facebook page is where it all starts. So that's where I've got my business website linked to, where all the packages are, where all the explanations are. But Facebook, through Facebook Messenger, that's really the number one point of contact. And I've also got my phone number in there. So that way, if they wanted to call instead of using Facebook, those options are available. And of course, my email's on there, but I do prefer either a phone call or a Facebook message.
And why don't you share your phone number here, because we'll put it up on the screen. I got a couple of numbers for you. I'm not sure which one is which.
So it is 270-283-9233.
Gotcha. And in terms of your Facebook page, do we just search out Jason Turner, life coach? What's the best way to find you there?
No BS Success Coach.
Or
if you type that in, you will find me.
Love it. Thank you for being here today and all the insight. And I love your straightforward approach connected to the military, but most importantly here as well, thank you for your service.
Oh, I appreciate that, sir.
I appreciate you. And looking forward if we get a chance to catch up again. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.